Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear the beat knock, you know our heat's cocked. It's so amazing when we come in guns blazing. You know what time it is. It is time for another edition of Command This. Forget all the funny intros. Let's hit it.
That's it. All right, let's go. Good evening, everyone. It is May 25th. Happy Thursday. Happy long weekend for many as we roll into Memorial Day, where we remember our fallen soldiers, airmen, sailors, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines, whomever. Phil had me messed up on the intro, man. Usually I'm waiting for the comedy. I'm waiting for the pokes, but man, you jumped right in. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but first, thank you for joining us, everyone. I want to start out with a big rest in peace, Tina Turner, man. She passed away this week at 83, man. Simply the best.
I remember back in the day, they played that song and it interspersed her music video with Jordan highlights.
Yeah,
and it's
I
right
remember
around the time he won his third championship.
Which song?
Simply the best.
Simply the best. Okay, better than all the rest. Yeah. You know what? That's not my favorite Tina Turner song, though. My favorite Tina Turner song is Proud Mary. I know it's not.
Mine too.
Not originally a Tina song.
Correct. I like her rendition of it.
Another hero.
That's a good one. Wasn't that from Mad Max?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to dance with somebody. I think that was Whitney Houston. My bad.
That was Whitney Houston, brother.
Yeah, Proud
You
Mary
might
is
lose your
one of my
black card for
favorites.
that one, Dev.
They're both black.
Yeah, but you can't confuse Tina Turner with Whitney Houston.
I agree. My bad.
Oh man! Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Getting into tonight's show, it's OTAs. OTAs have started. We have a semblance of football that is back. It's so very nice as I kill the music as we get into this episode. So football's back. Rest in peace, Tina Turner. The Commanders OTAs have started. We had mandatory rookie camps, and then we have optional team activities taking place this week. Many people get hung up, on the letter O. Some say it's off season. I think it's a fact that these activities are indeed optional, which means not mandatory for real. I just want to say, Yam, thank you for popping in as before he departs. Let's get his comment. Optional my ass, at least make an appearance. You don't have to participate. Leno, I get not being there. The other two should be something. Get him, Yam. He loved Tina as well. Rest in peace. Oscar Urbina, thank you for tuning in, coming in with the smiles. But yeah, it's optional. We'll talk about that soon. But you guys agree?
We found out that Chase and Montez were there the first week.
Correct.
When things were closed to the public. So
right.
It's like all this bickering by the public was all for naught, because turns out they were there for the first week, which, hey, I didn't know either. No one did. It was not public knowledge.
People are wrong a lot, man. Just like we were wrong. We all know that What Love's Got to Do with it is Tina Turner's best song, by the way. We didn't mention that.
What's love got to do?
Got to do with it.
It's kind of random. Dance is pretty dope, but anyway.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
All good songs. But back to the topic at hand. And people were arguing with me.
Okay, sorry.
I was wondering if you were going to pick up on that. But I know for a fact that see, Jimmy Lee agrees with me too.
Welcome, Jimmy. Private dancer for old Jimmy Lee. Okay, that's a good one.
Dance up for money.
I know for a fact that Chase Young was out in Colorado training. All right, I know this because I know people that were there with him.
Oh, look at Phil.
Oh shit! You finally flexing that little fan ambassador card, huh? Look at it. Finally, he's using that motherfucker. We don't get no inside news from him.
Phil's named a clout chaser.
Chase Young was out in Colorado. I mentioned it before, but I didn't divulge the fact that I had a source that was there. So they know that he was out there, and if one thing when you're coming back from an injury like his is that you need to get the cardio back, because when you spend so much time rehabbing, you're not in your best cardio shape when you come back. And I think we kind of saw that last year. Chase looked fine coming back from that injury, but you could tell wasn't quite there yet. And I think that this was a big help. So I have no problem. And he still came back for the first week of OTAs anyway. So why are we even complaining?
Well, people, multiple reasons.
It's our fan base. I know we cannot exist without complaining.
They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. They already have shown that they want him to participate, and he should be there. Like, it could be a contract thing. You know what? Work on your red blood cells. I'm cool with it.
Yeah,
they want him to perform. He could miss everything if he comes out in the field and performs this coming season. What does it matter?
What's love got to do with it?
What's love got to do with it? That's the theme of the pod today.
What's Chase got?
Who needs a mini camp when a real camp's more important?
Yeah, and like Phil was saying, if you look at the screenshot right there, shout out to Nikki Javala. And I'll read the tweet for you guys for the audio crowd. Ron Rivera said Chase Young and Montez Sweat were here for the first week of the off-season workout program. Rivera said he had conversations with Young since the team declined his fifth-year option and seems confident he'll ready to go. Oh, no, by the way, if you saw Terry McLaurin's post-practice comments, he's like, I did the same thing last year. Mine was a contract situation, but I wasn't here, and it's between us and the rest of the team, the fellow players, and he's not worried about it. So it's more so the fans and the media making it a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Thanks.
Particular one, Grant Jerome Paulson, I think also believes he should be there.
I believe he should be there too, but I don't care if he's not. You know what I'm saying?
So does Danny Rouillet.
Yeah, I think he should be there. But
let me ask you a question though: how many plays does Grant Paulson call on the sidelines on Sunday? How many first downs did Danny Rouillet get this team on a week-to-week basis?
The answer is 0.
All right.
Settle. 0.0.
0.0.
Steve, I don't know if you're pulling that from Amble House or you're pulling that from Howard Stern, but
Howard
either
Stern.
way,
Howard Stern.
I love you for it.
Howard Stern. Yeah. And I don't think anyone else is worried that Chase and Montez aren't there. Like you said, the benefits of Colorado is crazy. People specifically go to Colorado to train for decathlons, triathlons, Ironmans.
Every UFC fighter worth their salt will do a camp in Colorado.
Yeah, that and sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, which is practically what Colorado is because of the altitude. So I'm not hating it. I don't care. I'm indifferent. As long as the team don't come out and say, well, we wish you were here. Now, if he misses mandatory stuff, okay, that's a different story. This is mandatory.
He in Colorado smoking weed, man. That's what he's doing.
Anti-inflammatory. I'll take it.
I think it was Cooley that said on Sheehan's show back when they were regular, together. It's like, you've got to be the dumbest player in the world to fail a drug test.
They don't even test for weed no more, though.
Well, I'm just saying back then, and I think he was talking about Trent Williams. Because you always knew exactly when you were going to get tested, and you had plenty of time to get clean prior to. So if you failed a drug test, it's because you're dumb.
I think the league had it on 420 that year too. I think that was like the funniest thing about it. It was like
there were spring tests. It was always spring and leading up to the preseason. That's correct.
420.
1 year it was 420.
Yeah, 1 year it was 420 when they did it, man, and people still failed that fucking test.
I remember when Cooley said that, And I thought it was hilarious because, if anybody knows, it's Cooley.
Cooley failed a drug test?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Cooley never failed a drug
Trent
test.
did. We got a comment from Oscar.
Yeah, honestly, if you ever listen to Cooley and all that, like that just isn't really in his vibe. He's a dude who just pops top on bush lights and fly fishes.
Yeah.
I bet Cooley smokes weed.
Smoke weed every day.
Show. Hey,
Shizzle.
Oscar Urbina says, how about the Commanders losing the trademark to the name? We going back to the Washington team. We're going to talk about that next. So hold that thought, sir. We're going to talk about that here in uno momento. Por favor. Uno momento, por favor.
Que lástima.
Yeah. It's not Cinco de Mayo anymore.
It's what a shame in Spanish if y'all need to learn it.
It was when it was. Cinco de Mayo. What a good time that was for us on the show.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot what we did, but that's because it was so much fun.
Yeah. A little too much Buffalo Trace, a little too much. Tonight I'm drinking some Jefferson's Oceans at Sea.
What's your favorite Spanish word?
Favorite Spanish word?
Yeah, mine's marijuana.
That's marijuana.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chupame.
I don't know what that is. Tell me to suck something, or what'd you call me?
We got a comment from Anukai.
I'm talking to a Mexican girl right now. That's
Anakai, man, like the primitive people of the world, man.
Okay, aka the shiny one. Says, question to you guys. First off, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Does EB employ a fullback in this run-first offense? If so, is it Alex Arma? And to me, it helps both in the run game and the pass game to protect a young quarterback. And Sam, Dev, let's go to you. Do you think there will be a fullback? And then we'll go to Phil after.
Man, I think there might be maybe the old school Joe Gibbs H-back, perhaps instead of a fullback. But I would like for there to be a fullback if that's really the question. I can see it happening. I can see it happening, man. If they're really dedicated to the run, or at least a RPO or a rollout-based offense, yeah, I can see it happening. I'm hoping for it, actually.
Phil, what do you think?
I don't think that it's going to be the primary set. I think you'll see packages that involve a fullback, a lot of short yardage stuff, of course, but even stuff on first and second down. You'll probably see fullbacks in there as well. It'll probably be Arma. He's the only one that really seems to be penciled in to play that position. And, it adds a wrinkle to your offense, either as a fullback or you have another tight end in there as an H-back. You can do it a couple different ways. And I think you're going to see different packages. It's not going to be a base set, but it will be one that you see mixed in with everything else. It'll be a regular series of packages that involve a fullback. I think you're going to see that.
You think so?
I think so.
I think what's the rookie we got?
So that's where I was going, Dev. I don't think there's going to be, because there's just no room. It's Brian Robinson, it's Antonio Gibson, it's Chris Rodriguez Jr., who you're talking about, Dev.
Yeah,
and Jared Patterson.
Yeah, now, if you watch UK play, which I unfortunately did,
that's four.
The guy has all the.
He did just lose a tight end, though.
He was the best player on the UK's team last year. I know that everybody's going to say it was Levis, but the Chris Rodriguez was the best player on Kentucky's football team last year on offense.
Better than Levis? Better than Levis?
Levis is the quarterback who's more important, but the guy he threw it to and handed it to get all the touchdowns was him. The second half of the year was Rodriguez's team. He was a running back.
Didn't Jared Patterson go to No, he was
I think he went to like North Texas or some shit. I don't know where.
Dude,
Patterson?
Patterson went to Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was a blue team, though. Same
Buffalo University.
I thought we had another quarterback who a running back that went to Kentucky not too long ago. So, yes, Anunakai, thank you.
We had Reggie Bonifant, who played at Louisville, but he was a quarterback at Louisville, and they moved him to running back in Carolina and Washington.
Okay. Kevin Williams.
Back to Lamar Jackson. From
YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Says, what's up, fellas? Them not being there is okay. We all agree. Not worried about Sweat. He'll be straight. Young is becoming like other defensive end from OSU. Great one on the field, but always injured. I'm going to reserve till this season.
That's a
horrible. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
he had one injury.
Yeah.
People don't understand that the injury he had
Was in the
was
middle of
not
his-
like a simple ACL tear. It's not like what Adrian Peterson had. Hell, it's not even what RG3 had. It was way worse.
Yeah, the PCL.
It was ACL and PCL, so it required extra time for a recovery.
Plus,
And so I hated always injured. No, he had one long recovery from one injury.
Right.
So I get that. I get the concern because it took away so much of his rookie contract. But I hate that. Oh, he's always injured. But he's a bust. He had one injury.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. And Kevin Williams also says, who's a fan of Buffalo Trace? Says, we're in Virginia Beach sipping on the screwball. That's that peanut butter whiskey.
yeah.
My wife likes it.
They what?
It's
I
okay.
watch. I don't know if you guys watch Kill Tony, which is the best show
No.
on anything. That I'm telling you right now on YouTube. Go watch Kill Tony, best show on YouTube. They do peanut butter whiskey on there, sponsored by that. But I was gonna say about the what the fuck? I'm lost. What we're talking about? I'm lost.
Chase Young.
Yeah, people keep saying Chase Young's hurt all the time, but Chase Young just got hurt in the middle of his second year and didn't come back to the end of his third year. He had basically missed majority of 2 seasons off one injury. It wasn't like he's been injured every year. I mean, if you want to say Montez Sweat every year is on IR, I can get that one. I can understand if you say St. Juice, he ends every year on IR. I get that one. You know what I'm saying? But Chase Young's not one of those guys yet, anyways. If you want to ask me if anybody needs to go through OTAs in the season I injured, it's St. Juice and Sweat. Sweat gets kind of a leeway because one of the misses was because his brother got murdered.
Yeah.
Now Kevin Williams clarified. He says he's just in that category of the Bosa's. He didn't say bust.
Well, he's not going to get the sacks.
Kevin, my statement wasn't necessarily directed at you specifically. I mean, you used the words always, and a lot of people online who just love to dwell on negativity use that exact phrase and say bust. So I'm combining what you said with the same context I've seen that used in other comments that say he's always hurt, he's a bust. So I'm just addressing both what you said and what others have said that are in the same vein but added in the bust label. And I'm kind of addressing it all at once instead of making 2 separate comments because we already go long enough as it is on this podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, you can look at the end of our other podcast where we talk about why Chase Young doesn't get the numbers the Bosa's does for the majority of reasons. I mean, the Bosa's are great. That's one of the reasons. But another reason is Jack Del Rio does not send extra pass rushers. So every time you hike the ball against Washington, they have to beat you one-on-one. And by the time they get to you, they got the ball to their hands. That's why we're amongst the leaders every year in hurries and we're in a pass rushing efficiency, but we don't get the finish because we don't fit an extra guy and get that lucky one guy get through with an open block. Like that's why we don't have the numbers. But he's just as effective. And the thing about Chase Young, what people don't notice, it's not just sacks. The guy is in the top 5 every year in efficiency. He holds the edge. He solidifies the run. He does everything else right. So it's not. We're looking at him. If you look at his career in a vacuum so far, it's easy to say could he be a bust or could he be injury prone? Because it's not. You have to look at all of the little ins and outs of why the situation is how it is.
Yeah, he's asked to do more than just put your hand in the ground and chase the quarterback no matter what. Yep. He's asked to play an all-around game.
Yeah. Yep. Which is a detriment to his payday, probably. Keep it real. Yeah. If he was just out there like Parsons, just hit somebody,
See ball, get ball.
Right.
Ryan Elias, thank you for joining us. Said tequila on deck per usual. 1800. Red Zone in the lab. My boy Deuce says, what it do? It's the Iceman Pow Wow. Got my mouth looking something like a disco ball. No, nobody knows that one. Said what it do. Thanks,
What do you
Dev.
do?
Open
He
my
also
mouth.
says Dev.
Sunlight illuminates the dark.
Cooking, man, with grease.
Dev cooking. Dev cooking. That's right. That's right. Hey, Rivers Reese from YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Says, I think Chase will crush it this year. He hurt his knee way worse than anyone thought. That's exactly what Phil just said. This is a prove it year. He's fully recovered, ready to eat. That's what I'm saying. I'm not ready to pass judgment till we see him on a field. So,
Now, if he comes out and plays like ass this year, then yeah, y'all can call him bust, and a whole bunch of people are going to be like, "Oh, I called it from the beginning. We should have drafted who was it? Justin Herbert or whoever. Blah 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 blah."
we should have.
You didn't know at the time.
Kevin Williams brings up a good point. So let's be honest, though, it's bad when he mainly tries to coach him on some things. The league knows his one move. Yes, Jack screwed him. Hope Kerrigan saves him. I will say, if there ever was a one move person, it was Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah,
That dude's his
Ryan
move was
Kerrigan
Bull
was-
rush.
straight bull
Ryan
rush.
Kerrigan.
Nobody was afraid of Ryan Kerrigan. I love Ryan Kerrigan. No one was ever afraid of him.
And
Ryan
again,
Reese.
we're looking at Young as if you're saying he only has one move, but he's only played like 12, 13 games.
Yeah.
Oh, he played like, I guess his rookie year. He was hurt his rookie year too, right? At the beginning of the year.
Who?
Chase, wasn't he injured like the first
No.
couple of games?
No.
All right, well, let's start on the next topic. So we're going to talk about the trademark. So there's been some late news as of yesterday, today. So for those who aren't tracking, it's a little bit of trademark drama again. We spent 2 years in a rebrand from the Washington Redskins to the Washington football team to the Washington Commanders. Many people will say that we should add a different name, the Warriors, the Red Wolves, whatever. We settled on Commanders. So lo and behold, the USPTO, which is the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, denied the trademark application from the Commanders. On May 18th, the USPTO issued the denial, citing two reasons. Number one, an existing trademark for Commanders Classic. And number two, pending applications filed by a DC area man. That's right. Do you guys know who that man is?
Davis.
His name is Martin McCauley. Look at Phil's little, you can't see it now, but so this was the letter. This was the tweet that started it all. Go ahead, Phil.
So, our friend Martin McCauley has appeared once again. And Martin McCauley's lawyer came out and said that he would withdraw his pending application for the name Commanders. And actually, it was like Space Commanders, Wolf Commanders. Like, this is what he does. He buys up all of them. And then his lawyer right here, I think that's his lawyer.
Yes, it
Dude's
is.
genius. Dude's genius,
Says-
man.
He will step aside in exchange for contribution to a charity that offers scholarships for Native Americans. Well, but then he says, I'll do it for free. He always says that. I'll do it for free. Well, no, that's not free. He wants you to pay up money to someone else in exchange for stepping aside.
So we can't use Commanders as of right now?
As correct.
No, they can use it. They just can't trademark it, which means that if you want to make, if you want to go out and make bootleg gear, they can't sue you for it.
Yes. China's good.
Martin McCauley can, though.
No.
Like,
Martin McCauley is called his nickname is the Trademark Hog. He wrote a book on this. Basically, we took 2 years to rebrand. So what did he do? He went out and bought a crap ton of names that he thought the team might even be remotely. Washington Space Commanders, Washington Football Commanders. He even owned the Washington football team trademark at one point. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how our society works. You can't. It's not illegal.
It's very litigious. Is that what that's called? Litigious.
It's being opportunistic. Because you know what? If I had thought about it,
dick. Let's be real.
Just give me some season tickets. I mean, it's kind of like blackmail. It's kind of like
for life. Give me some life
extortion.
Tickets,
it's semi-extortion.
I'll take the crappiest seat for life, though. They gave me the crappiest seat in the new stadium for life.
I here's the thing. Every time it's I'll step aside, but you gotta give scholarships to Native Americans.
Yeah. This was the first right here.
Have you seen Martin McCauley, first of all?
Yeah.
Dude, I swear, I hope we change. Now, I
pasty white dude. Right?
I'm kind of on board with
wants to always watch this. Pasty white dude wants to white knight. He came out so strong when they were looking for a new name against the old name Redskins and all this other stuff. So he's trying to paint himself as the good guy, when really he's just being an obstructionist at this point. Why does he want to be an obstructionist? I don't know. Maybe he's a Red Wolves fan too, in which case he should probably get a visit from Chris Hansen.
Kevin Williams says, let's go Red Wolves and Howell to the moon. But the dude said on case 2, he will drop his for a charitable donation. Yep, that's what we were just going through.
He probably owns Red Wolves too.
So here's the other ones. Washington Space Commanders, Washington Wolf Commanders. Dude's in Alexandria. He ain't far. What are the next steps?
Space Commanders, Wolf Commanders. Oh man. Wouldn't that just burn the ass of everybody involved?
Cobra Commanders is there.
Base if they change the name to Wolf Commanders. You want to talk about nobody being happy?
They should be Wolf Commander skins. That'd be even better.
It says, what are the Commanders' next steps? For our audio crowd, it says the team can file a response arguing that an NFL team is unlikely to be confused with a single college game, because that's what the Commanders Classic is. They can win that. And number 2, attempt to buy out the rights or sign a coexistence agreement, which is what they could have did with Red Wolves if they chose to do that with Arkansas. But I don't think they wanted to choose it. They didn't choose to do that. And it says, as for
because that would have been a much bigger deal.
Yeah.
That would probably require more money.
And everyone's saying we'll see if he keeps his word. And it says it is likely the U.S. Patent and Trade Office will drop the refusal due to Commanders Classic trademark if a good legal argument is submitted. Which all the Commanders need to do is a little help from
easy legal argument for that one.
Yeah, I think this is not going to be that big of a deal. I think it's going to
as long as Macaulay doesn't end up being an ass, which he lives to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as my headline says, that dude can just go ahead and eat 5 Popeyes biscuits without any water, for all I care.
Like eating saltines with no water, just
choke on them.
Gets all smacky. Chris McDaniel, thank you for joining. He has a late comment. We won't dwell on it, but he says Chase sustained his first significant injury September 27, 2020 against the Browns, suffering an inaugural something groin strain grade 2, was out for 2 games. Marcus says,
out for 2 games. Okay.
I want the Red Wolves. They're out there.
Yeah, I don't mind the Red Wolves.
I think that Red Wolves is your first pick. You need a visit from the Chris Hansen and the Catch a Predator guys, because that name is best suited for some youth soccer team. And if you want that for this team, you have a thing for little kids, and I got a problem with that.
Phil is what we call
the juvenile bullshit people.
Phil's a hater.
I said I wouldn't curse.
Red Wolves is a better name than Commanders, bro.
Yeah, I'm with Dev on this one.
Both of them are
all y'all are suspects.
I'm not saying you don't have to be Red Wolves, just be Wolves.
No alliteration. God, that is so Bush League.
Hey, I mean, I own the copyrights to Fashion Blacks, so I'm going. Y'all
do fantasy.
How's that working out for you?
Y'all got to pay me for watching the Fashion Blacks, bro.
Yeah,
what's Sam then? Because he's Korean.
We talked about this. Middle name is Samuel Devontae Howell.
Devontae Howell, boy.
Even if you do want a new name, like I don't want to do another rebrand. I can't deal with it again. I can't deal with another team sale. I can't deal with another rebrand. Please, for the love of God, can we please just play football like a normal team? That so for the sake of that,
it's not the generic.
I'm good. I'm gravy.
Not even premium saltine. It's like the great value saltine name of Washington football team. Like
we still own Redskins.
What?
We still own it.
Redskins.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That'd be hilarious. They said we had a throwback jersey that I heard. Somebody told me that.
Yeah.
That would be me.
He didn't tell me that. I don't believe Phil told me anything, man. He's hiding shit.
I was told
he tells the shit after
and all I'm going to say is that those words came out of the mouth of someone with the initials JW.
JW.
Oh, he's never been wrong about anything.
Well, that's his job.
He's never done that. He's never done that poorly. I mean, that's my guy though.
In other good news, the team is likely not going to be penalized from tampering with Andrew Luck. If you saw last week's show, it was called Erkin Ursay. And
that's all because we couldn't call him Oxycontin Ursay. You know what I'm saying?
Ursay sucks.
And he made a public announcement. He made a public announcement that, anyone that's been messing with it, that would try to get the rights to Andrew Luck would be, slapped with tampering rules. So according to Mark Maskey and Nikki Javala said the Commanders are now actually unlikely to face any penalties from these allegations. It was reported earlier this month. John Keim also said that Washington even phoned about retiring Andrew Luck just in case before trading with Indianapolis to acquire quarterback Carson Wentz. So there was some bad poo-poo going around. Not sure the source of it. Not sure where it came from.
You can call someone else to say, hey, what is the contract situation?
Right. Well, through a proxy. So his uncle, Andrew Luck's uncle, is the agent. So I could just say, hey, Dev, I could be Martin Mayhew, and say, hey, Dev, go call this guy, ask him what your nephew's doing. None the wiser. You know what I mean? But Nikki Javala, they said that there's not enough hard evidence of impermissible contact by Commanders, and the situation is likely going to fade away. It does not appear the NFL launched a formal investigation of the allegation. Now, what that tells me, though, is where there's smoke, there's fire. So there was probably something that happened.
Yeah, probably something happened to
proxy. Said, hey, what is the deal? They found out they couldn't do anything, and they left it alone.
It probably was a good deal till they saw Andrew Luck. He looked like he was on street Adderall. Seen that guy? He's like skinny as shit.
Yeah, he looks like he's on Dallas Buyers Club.
He's like Uncle Si on Duck Dynasty, bro. I don't know if that
it's like players always go one of two ways. They either drop a ton of weight, or they all end up looking like Nate Newton after about
Nate Newton did a lot of cocaine, so I mean I don't know if
Newton's the only fat cocaine addict ever.
Man, if you feel like being a crackhead, something's up with that. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy when you see some of the offensive linemen go down to like normal guy weight. They keep that. It just shows you how hard they work to keep that weight on, and it's crazy.
Damn,
Marcus says, I really don't care what their name is. I just won a Super Bowl trophy. Don't we all?
You're not going to get one of those for a while, but I want to at least win.
Kevin says, sorry to backtrack about the fullback position, but why not move Gibson there and use him like Darrell Young? B-Rob, I think he's a little more.
Gibson is not shifty. He's not a blocker. He's not a blocking back.
Yeah.
He's not a guy you want leading the block out of the backfield.
You probably rather have Robinson there than him.
That's what John Bates is for.
You want to take a guy who converted from wide receiver to running back to fullback. Wide receiver to running back, I get.
Not the guy do that, right?
I don't think that's his skill set.
Now's Paul.
Wide receiver to tight end.
He went from wide receiver to tight end.
Darrell Young was a linebacker. Who was the other linebacker that we Ryan Anderson? Remember we put Ryan Anderson? Put him at fullback? Yeah. But just to rehash that.
Was Darrell Young was it Darrell Young that was linebacker, or was that Mike Sellers?
Rock Alexander.
Rock Cartwright?
Rock Cartwright. Yeah, the one played tackle, and then defensive lineman. And then
no, you're thinking Lorenzo Alexander.
Lorenzo Alexander. That's what I'm thinking of.
But Kevin, just to go back, I personally said there's not enough room to keep all these running backs. You have Rob, Antonio Gibson, Chris Rodriguez, who we drafted out of Kentucky, and Jarrett Patterson. If you keep Alex Armour, that's 5 running backs. No team keeps 5 running backs. Doesn't happen. So I don't know where this fullback's going to come from.
Look, we just lost Armani Rogers. Segue.
Yeah.
And you now can either keep another tight end to replace him, or you can keep Armour at fullback.
Yeah. On that note, I do want to say, what's up to Badass Lord Tipsy? Says, good evenings, Commanders fam. What are we tipping tonight? I got some Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. That's what
I'm keeping it sober.
By the way, if Sims can't go to free safety, man, then he can't. Then Gibson can't go to fullback. That's my rule.
Sims went to a completely different franchise.
Yeah. Rivers Reese says, start winning and the name won't matter. If they picked a new name, it would suck too. You kind of have a point. It really doesn't matter what the name is. If we start winning, no one's going to care what the name is.
I don't know, man.
Wait till the Cleveland Guardians win a World Series. People will be like, all right.
No,
sweet.
that name
Guardians.
always suck. That name's
Same in the
that
Pelicans.
name's
The
awful.
Pelicans going to be bad too.
Nah, Wizards also.
Wizards.
Yeah, I know. Kevin says, ha ha ha, if Ron has his way, a lot go away and Apke stays. Man,
That would make Dev's day.
I'm not an Apke fan. I just think it's cool. I like saying the name. Apke.
Yeah.
Trapke.
Trapke. It's Trapke season, right?
Yeah. Trapke.
That's what we're talking about here.
You get trapped in free agency and
That's
off
what
this
we're really talking
franchise.
about. But the next news is Armani Rogers ruptured his Achilles tendon on Tuesday. They didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So of the tight end room, we had 5 personnel. We had Logan Thomas, John Bates, Cole Turner, Curtis Hodges, and Armani Rogers. We did not draft a tight end, which was my big thing. I think we should have, but we didn't. So now we're down to 4 tight ends. We have Logan Thomas, who we hope to be great. John Bates, who is a fantastic pass catcher, but that's about it. He's very solid. And Cole Turner, who's a wide receiver posing as a tight end, but he got hurt last year because Taylor threw a high ball and got him concussed. And then Curtis Hodges, who's also a wild card. So the tight end room is just kind of up in the air. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that Eric Bieniemy is running Andy Reid's West Coast offense, which featured Travis Kelce. So we don't have that safety relief valve of a young quarterback to dump it off to his tight end. Now, I think if Logan's healthy, he could be that guy, but he's only going to do so much. So does this worry you that we're now down to these 4 tight ends? And Phil, I'll start with you.
No.
You're good. You're good at who we have.
I'm good with what we got.
Okay, that's fair.
Here's the thing. Hodges to me is much like Rodgers, a potential guy. So,
Yeah.
well, you really haven't lost anything. In fact, Hodges actually has a lot more size to him. That's what makes him interesting.
He's a P. It's like you're playing spades. He's a P.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you say he's a P. He might be like a 6 of spades. You don't know what to do with that one. Do you count it? Do you not count it? But you, Dev.
Yeah, I agree with Phil.
Not worried about tight ends, huh?
Nah,
you guys know it's my favorite position. It's like Phil and his linemen. I want to see our tight ends do well. It's no secret that a good tight end is really good for a young quarterback. But I think you guys are on to something. I think it can be offset because we have 3 really good wide receivers. And then we have potentially Antonio Gibson, who could just be checked down central. So I think it's okay. I just wish the tight ends, I like to have a tight end who can get behind the second level and do something, Travis Kelce was open in the middle of the field every pass play, 100% of the time.
Yeah, but there's only one of those. There's like a couple of those guys in the league like that.
Cole Turner could be the guy that a lot of people want Rodgers to be.
He's got the potential, dude.
Right.
He's a
I
monster.
think that's the best move is to develop Cole Turner behind Thomas and with Bates out there blocking. I think that is the kind of the room. I think anybody else added to that room is just there for potential or to develop. I don't think anyone after those 3 are going to get
Rodgers was by far the shortest tight end we had.
Yeah.
All of our tight ends are like 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah.
Big boys. We got power forwards.
Curtis Hodges is 6'8". Cole Turner is 6'6". John Bates is 6'6", and Logan Thomas, I believe, is 6'6". So everyone's 6'6", except for Armani Rogers, who's 6'8". That's insane.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That
is that's a room full of college power forwards right there.
You telling
right?
me?
And
Boy, Deuce.
That's what you want.
Red Zone in the lab. Please make sure you go sub up to Deuce's channel. They're kicking out all kinds of crazy content. It's coming fast. It's coming hot. If you're not subbed, you're missing out. It says Cole Turner did a lot of work today. He doesn't look like a wide receiver. He looked sharp routes, hips, and head fluid. So Deuce was at OTAs today. So that's a really good perspective. Thank you for sharing that, Deuce. Rivers Reese says, "What's up with Cole Turner? I think his name is. He's supposed to be good. Yeah, he was my favorite pick from last year."
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, I had high hopes for Rodgers, but they would look for a free agency title. Do you need to?
To answer the Cole Turner question, he got concussed because he was trying to reach up and catch one of those way too high ducks thrown by Taylor Heineke. I was waiting for that.
Taylor Heineke is Voldemort. We try not to say that name, but we know it happens on this show. You know, nothing but love for Taylor, but let's let him go to
came back around the back of his head. I mean, you know, I'm so glad that dude's gone.
And Inikai said, and his offense will be okay. Rodgers could have been a game changer. He was the most explosive tight end we had, but we will be okay. Lord Tipsy said, hearing BattleBots is insane tonight, but command this comes first. That's what's up, bro. Appreciate you. Marcus says, EB has a lot of toys, which have to adjust the offense. It's almost too many toys.
Right.
It's a good problem.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Having seen Bieniemy adjust offenses before, that's why I feel comfortable with whatever we lose or whatever we gain, he'll find a way to adjust the offense to fit the talent he has, which is the exact opposite of Scott Turner.
Yeah, straight up. You know, Deuce says we are always full of, air quotes, potential. Rodgers had about 6 or so good plays last year, and we act like we lost Kelsey. And you know what, Deuce? You're right.
We ain't on this podcast.
I'm with you. So we, as fans, when I say we, I mean the holistic we get excited about our players. But a lot of times we get these homer blinders we put on. These are my blinders. But we have to take them off and be subjective because, believe it or not, this is not a popular opinion. A lot of these guys are just Jags on another team. They're just a guy. They're our guys. But if you put these guys on other teams, they're just a guy. I don't
that visual example given to you by Steve Top Gun Lim over there.
That's right. The the aviators. But yeah, we
call
do.
Him Ice Man.
Ice Man. And then the guy says, "Don't sleep on Bates. Everyone wants to throw him under the bus, but he's going to ball out on this offense. He's Mr. Consistent. You throw it, he'll catch it.
I don't throw Bates under the bus. I've been caping hard for that dude since we drafted him.
And he's a really good blocker.
He really is. And he's got good hands when the ball is thrown to him. He doesn't have the athletic ability to create separation with speed. Right. But much like, for instance, to use another basketball analogy, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was great at getting his body between the opposing player and the ball for rebounds. Bates is that guy. Bates is really good at getting inside the defender on a crossing route or a hook and getting that big frame in front of whoever's guarding him to catch passes.
Yep. Gives it to him. That's right. I like John Bates. He you know what you're going to get with him. He's got sticky hands. He's got those stick 'em on his hands. So he'll throw it, you catch it. Rivers Reese says, I'm a Norfolk boy, so I watched him live, but not the answer for sure. I want him to do well.
He's talking about old duck ball.
Peyton Manning?
Peyton Manning was a 6'5" laser rocket arm quarterback.
Yeah.
None of those adjectives apply to Taylor Heineke.
No? Who is he talking about then?
Talking about a Taylor Heineke.
All right, enough Taylor Heineke. So yes, Armani Rodgers is out. Your Deuce was right. He didn't do a whole lot last year. It kind of reminds me of my guy Antonio Gandy-Golden. You know, he had one of the best plays of the entire season before he retired. Bless his soul.
Armani Rodgers had a couple catches, man, last year.
He did. Armani Rodgers?
He had a couple catches.
He ran a beautiful tight end reverse.
Yeah.
So basically,
Antonio Gandy-Golden did. Correct. He did. He did. And then he got blown up on the sideline.
When he got tackled at the end of that reverse.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. I show it to my kids every day. I'm like, hey, Dad was in the NFL. Look at this shit.
I had a 20-yard run, and then some dude destroyed me on the way out of bounds.
Absolutely wrecked me.
Hey, the legend of Antonio Gandy-Golden will live on forever. God bless his soul. Liberty University represent. Armani Rodgers had 5 catches, 64 yards, no touchdowns. 6 targets. So 5 receptions, 64 yards. We didn't lose. We probably not losing. We have it's a bunch of potential.
No, he was the fourth. He was the fourth tight end.
Dude said, wait a minute. Did Phil just compare Bates to Dennis Rodman?
Yeah.
I believe you did, sir.
It was a good example, you got to find your metaphors and your comparisons.
I don't know how front office Philly would feel about that, but next time we see him, we'll have to freaking ask him about that one.
I think he's out with Jim Irsay having a Coke bender.
Yeah, Coke bender. Hey, next topic. So our boy Brian Davis, PG County's finest, is back in the news again. So we talked about this 4 episodes ago on Mythical Money. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on the channel or on the audio platform. And Brian Davis had this magical $10 billion bid, which he said, his intellectual property was worth $7 billion. So he was going to bid $7 billion. They were going to use $3 billion for liquidity. That's 10. And then an extra billion, $3 billion for the stadium and an extra billion for whatever. So he was going to have $10 billion to bid.
Rumor has it he thought he kept looking at those cubes you put to make broth of soup, and he kept thinking he was putting bouillon, not billion.
Yeah, and so he's back in the news again, and it's funny because if you know, I know Deuce knows him very well, old AJ Perez. If you remember Brian Davis being on the Junkies, Eric Bickle specifically said, so I've read somewhere that you're doing this just to sue the NFL and it's not a bid and blah, 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 blah. And his first response was, you can go back and listen to the interview. I've never sued anyone. I'm not here to sue anyone. I want to own the team. And lo and behold, we come to find out his initial lawsuit said $500 billion, a $500 billion lawsuit to Bank of America. Not the Commanders, not the NFL, to Bank of America because they failed to adjudicate his bid and put it in the process. That has now been retracted. Now the lawsuit to Bank of America is just for $990,000. So I don't know how you go from
probably the application fee
$500 billion to $990,000.
What's the word again? Letitia.
My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. I want $500 billion. We can sell it out of court right now for $995,000.
Yeah, and it's not Josh Harris; it's his company Urban Echo, which you can't find anything online about, but apparently it does exist because he's been in the trenches. He has been doing social media. He hasn't having a forward-facing webpage like every other company in the world does. But yes, it's all fun. But go check out AJ Perez's Twitter. It has a whole giant thread on it. It says he says, I obtained the guarantee letter for the transfers, and the doc raised more questions than it had answered. He called every phone number on that letter, and one was for a fish business. And it said, but did I talk to someone? He did talk to someone potentially involved. And the question was, why is a sports reporter asking these questions? There's this whole thing is just fishy, and I hate, no pun intended.
Why is a sports reporter asking questions about the potential sale of a sports team?
Right. Here's the Twitter thread if you want to go check it out. Shout out to AJ Perez and Front Office Sports. Hopefully we can get him on the show soon. But Brian Davis is salty that his bid was not accepted, although his company did acknowledge that the Commanders have accepted Josh Harris in their bids. But this is what I was talking about when he said, why is a sports reporter asking these questions? It's kind of funny. You know what I mean? It really is. And then he goes on to say, and the lawsuit, which originally sought $500 billion, is now $990,000. That's a 99% cut. 99. 9 times 99. That just goes to show you that I think this was all a dog and
$2 and a pack of jujubes by the end of this case.
And then this was yesterday, but apparently his attorney had until noon today to give the judge a status report on the attempts to contact Bank of America. And it's funny. So the Junkies kind of got something right when they asked him, are you doing this just to sue the league?
It
Well-
was obvious.
It's kind of funny.
I shouldn't say it because EB is actually my. If you rank all four of the guys on the Junkies, EB is my number 2 on there.
Yeah.
So I would expect him to ask a question like that because he could come up with a smart one every now and then.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, as much as I've given the Junks hell for getting a lot of stuff wrong, and Chris Russell for caping for him. By the way, Chris Russell, you still owe me an apology. But nonetheless,
You're not getting that apology.
I'm never
No.
gonna get that apology.
Right.
This is the same guy. Chris Russell's the same guy who got pulled over by the cops and pulled the "Do you know who I am" card.
I would too.
So, and it's on. By the way, the audio still exists.
Oh, does it?
Anyway,
we got sample that. You know who I am.
pretty much pulled that stunt on the cop. But nonetheless, kudos to EB. He voiced what a lot of us were listening, going, "This don't sound legit. This
Right.
sounds like it's a scam for something else." And
It's because real
there you
niggas
go.
know. I'm saying, I don't. It's shady motherfuckers know shady shit when they see it.
Yeah. Real recognize real, right?
Right.
All right. Last topic for tonight. You guys don't know this is coming. We kind of alluded to it last week, and I kind of dropped it. And I think I kind of want to have another whole show topic on it, but just to kind of preview it. I have a question for you guys and everyone in the crowd. Does having a good culture on a team, football culture, equal winning? Is having a good culture synonymous with winning? I'm gonna leave it at that.
more often than not, especially if you want long-term success.
Yeah.
You don't see teams that have bad culture exist in such toxicity for a long period of time and have success. It will eventually implode upon itself.
Bulls.
Okay. What about you, Dev? Does having a good culture on a team equal winning?
Oh no, I'd say majority of the time, but I mean, we've seen the Bulls, right? We all know the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the days. You know what I'm saying? We all knew all the Yankees were on steroids and fucking up shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
they were still winning.
Miami.
The
look at all
Cowboys,
of the
Michael
all
Irvin
of the
them.
Miami Hurricanes.
Man, all the Miami Hurricanes, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville has
Here's
strippers.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Louisville won the championship with
The
strippers.
culture, you gotta understand. But those guys were united in that sense too. Like negative culture will end up with players sniping at each other. You didn't have that. Like I'm talking about like constantly.
Yeah, but if they would
Bulls
have
did
taken
that.
the Bulls,
The
would have been a
Bulls
losing
did. The
team.
Bulls. Here's the thing, though. The Bulls eventually put that stuff aside. That's how they won multiple championships. That first season, the first 2 seasons under Phil Jackson were the rough ones, and that's when he was trying to basically undo the damage to the culture of that team that Doug Collins had done.
So what you're saying, Phil, is it doesn't matter if it's a good culture or a bad culture. If it's the culture if it's a united culture, that's what.
Well,
equals wins.
let me clarify that. You're
Man
kind of
thieves.
putting it there, but let me rephrase that. When it comes to the team, a good culture as far as the football team, as far as these guys go to practice, they all practice hard, they keep each other accountable when it counts. That's good culture, right? It's more about us. It's not about me, kind of thing. When you got 53 guys all looking out for me, that's bad culture.
Okay. Then I would challenge you guys because I would argue, do we all agree that Ron Rivera has installed a good culture? I think he has. A good culture.
That's why I think you're starting to see the pieces fall into place. People got to realize how bad things were. People, because we have a short attention span in this day and age of everything instant. And if it happened a year ago, it was forever ago. But people forget how bad things were under the Gruden and Allen regime ruling over this team. It was absolutely atrocious. All the things that you got to think. Everybody wants to point at Dan Snyder, and Dan Snyder has a lot that can be pointed at him. But Jay Gruden, it was Club J. There was no accountability. There was no toughness. There was no nothing there. It was just everybody showed up. Okay, we're gonna rally up. Blah 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 blah. Can we get out of here early enough? And he hit Bar Louie, and then he had Bruce Allen, who was winning off the field.
Winning off the field. Yeah. Marcus says, yeah, because bad culture is when things leak out of the building to the media. Chet Scotland, thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate you. Said, the only culture needed is winning culture. I agree. Rivers Reese says, yes, for sure. Everything else gels and a well-oiled machine runs hard. Anunakai says, culture is fine and dandy when you have a below-average head coach and a bunch of jags and bums on a team, you get mediocre results. That's why we are a mid-team. Ron is getting fired regardless of what this team does. This is coach-centric. Bullshit is over. He's out. You can take that to the bank.
I agree with him. I've told y'all this. I think that unless he does some crazy shit, dog, unless Howell is the franchise quarterback, no questions asked.
Nah. Unlucky there. The shiny ones here. What he's trying to say is that we'll go 17-0. We'll win the Super Bowl. Ron's getting fired.
Man,
that's what he wants.
This is where I was alluding to. I say Ron has a great culture on this team, which means he's probably had a great culture everywhere he's been. But great culture does not necessarily equal winning. Ron's had 3 winning seasons in his 12-year career.
I think he tried to keep Ron around.
But
I don't know if
have you ever – here's the thing. I'm glad you brought this up, all right? Those first 2 seasons, he's fixing culture in Carolina. And then you have the next 5 seasons, you have 3 of them are winning years.
Yeah.
Hell, in 2012, he got a division title at 7-9, or he got into the playoffs. I know that. I think it was a division title.
We know what that's like.
So we know what that's like. Now, he had to take over a much worse culture here after taking over from Jay Gruden. Now, to emphasize the point a little bit further, the Carolina Panthers falling apart after that Super Bowl run and everything is actually documented very well in SB Nation. Well, now it's called Secret Base. They have a series called Collapse, where they talk about a team that hits a peak, they're great, and then it falls apart. And they chronicled the Panthers under Ron Rivera, and it actually absolves Ron of a lot of the blame for that. If you watch it, like, they do not put much, if any, blame on Ron for why things started to fall apart after that. Toward the last couple of seasons, a lot of it was guys got hurt, guys got old, guys retired, and they couldn't get the talent to replace it. They had to rebuild. And if I had it, but you can look it up. Look up Secret Base Collapse Panthers on YouTube. It's about a 20-minute video. It's there. I've watched it a couple times. I watched it because I wanted to learn a little bit more about Ron Rivera, because I did my research, and it was very interesting.
Yeah. All I wanted to stimulate conversation, if that makes sense, was I don't think culture doesn't always equal winning. You can have a team who's disciplined. You can have a team who's all going in the same direction. You can have a team that listens to every command. You can have a team but it doesn't mean that they're winning. Sometimes it's not guaranteed.
Much more often than not.
Yeah.
You're going to have sustained success. Does it mean you're going to win the Super Bowl every year? No.
Yeah. Sometimes I think there's
hold on. The Patriots had such good culture that guys who were considered problem children would go up there and either shape up or be gone quickly.
Yeah. Pittsburgh ran the same kind of ship.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. I mean,
3 coaches in like 50 years. Kind of not fair, but what's that like? Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a trade-off. You know what I mean? there's a fine line.
If you want immediate gratification, you will sacrifice culture.
Yes.
If you want to build something for a long term, you have to have good culture.
The problem is a lot of time owners are not patient enough to let that fester and build. That's where it's kind of unique here is I think we're actually seeing this build before our eyes. A lot of people just don't realize it. They're just looking at the 7-9, 8-1.
The minute we didn't
You know
go 14-2 the very next season after Ron took over, people forgot how bad things were before Ron.
Yeah.
It's how bad things are now.
This comment here, this is a school of thought a lot of people have. EB will take over and get that accountability part taken care of. Ron changed the culture. EB will change the team to winning. I'm hoping that maybe they'll do this while they're still on the same roster, or Ron will move himself out to the front office because I really like Ron. I hope he sticks around in some capacity, and then EB will get his shot.
Ron Rivera is somebody you want in your organization,
and even if it's not a GM, something. I just think he's just a solid dude that you want to have around.
What's the meaning of your name?
Anunakai says the Wentz debacle was enough to get him fired. The only reason he's still here is because Dan using him as a shield. Dan, the shield is gone. What we need is a real GM, real head coach. Now, you aren't wrong. A lot of time, a Wentz decision like that could get most coaches fired in the NFL. But we aren't your normal team.
That's true.
What we need is a real GM.
Okay. I think
our GM is a former GM on other franchises. Our head coach is a head coach of other franchises who, by the way, got to the Super Bowl with 15-1. And don't say it was all Cam. That defense was amazing in Carolina. But because we don't get the instant gratification, or because Ron Rivera isn't the sexy new guy on the block like EB is,
I still attribute it back to it's year 4 and he doesn't have a quarterback. Yes, Sam could be that guy, but who? Well,
Sam turns out to be that guy. You can't say that.
But who usually gets 4 years to find a quarterback? That doesn't happen. Nobody.
And this is why a lot of teams don't have success in the NFL, because there isn't a patience amongst the ownership or the fan base or the media or any of these other idiots out here. You gotta have
man. It's been 4 years, bro.
When you have to unfuck a decade, and God, you're making me curse again. I was trying to be better about this, but when you have to unscrew the mess that was left behind by Bruce Allen, Jay Gruden, and by Dan Snyder, that's not something you could do overnight.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to fault you there. That's 100% true.
4 years, though. He turned into Jeff Fisher.
Mr. 8-8.
3 years.
500.
We've had 3 years to turn around. Year 4, you had to bear fruit. Now, I am of the mindset, if our 4th year looks like the previous 3 years,
I'm with you, Phil.
He's gone. I think he's gone unless it looks way better.
I'm with you.
I said when we hired Ron, I need 3 years to see where we're trending at that point.
It takes you 3 years to transform a roster, in my personal opinion. Fully to where you want it to be, to get rid of the previous regime's trash. 3 years. Year 4, there's no more excuses. 0. Which is why normally you have your quarterback set before you go into year 4. He goes into year 4. It's like, oh, yeah, well, we had this quarterback experiment, but we think we have all the other pieces in place. What happens in year 5?
They were trying. Here's the thing.
The
first year, they tried to make it work with Dwayne Haskins. That wasn't happening because Dwayne wasn't having it. All right. Year 2 and year 3, they tried to get the immediate veteran because they were trying to win now. They're trying to satisfy the desire to win now. And that was a mistake. But I understood why. All right. Now, granted,
you can't really
say Fitz bombed out. He suffered a career-ending injury in the second quarter of the first game. All right. Not exactly like,
we're cursed.
Damn, you should have seen that coming.
Terrible luck for this team.
And Wentz, the year before Wentz came here, we were looking at his numbers. We're like, damn, this guy was good.
Yeah. Rivers Reese says culture is a foundation for winning. Coaching really matters. Just look at the Giants and Eagles. I hate using them as the example. Yeah, they turn their teams around fast.
The Eagles are a case of they're kicking cans down the road, though, in the front office. That team is going to self-destruct in a couple of years.
Chet Scotland says Sam will be that guy, bro. I got faith, man.
I feel pretty good about Sam.
I do.
I like the guy.
The franchise, if we're drafting the quarterback in the first round next year, dog, round's gone, bro.
Yeah, I went back and watched the OTA footage that I got last year, and I went back and watched the footage that Phil and I got from the open practice at FedEx Field last year. And multiple times, all we said was, man, look at Sam Howell. Look at the way the ball flies off Sam Howell's fingers or hand. It just it wasn't even prompted. It was just like, holy crap. Look at that.
Literally, Steve and I are sitting up there in the box seats. And we're looking down, and we're like in the club level, and we're just like, damn. Look at that kid's arm.
Compared to the other two, yeah. Now the ball, he had some struggles. He wasn't that accurate, but the ball just flies off naturally. It goes back to that. Remember the Sam Howell broke the NCAA record for rev rate off his throws. You remember that when we were talking about drafting him last year? The spin rate coming off his balls is like unprecedented.
Pause.
Yes.
Pause.
Yes, good one, Dev. Marcus says Martin Mayhew has been good as a GM. He's found gems late in the draft. I'll give him that. They've actually have been pretty good at finding the Cam Curls, the Derek Forrests, those.
Still waiting for to break the second round.
Those late rounders. What can you do?
I'm not gonna let you sit there and say Mark Mayhew's been a good GM, man. I don't want to hear that shit.
Oh, look at them disagreeing.
No way.
Chet says his boss CB won't waste that talent.
Man.
And then the guy says didn't take Dayball 4 years to turn around with a shitty quarterback with old Danny Dimes, who they just re-signed. Thank you very much.
Hold on. Did Dayball have the same mess that Ron and company inherited?
All I'm saying is
that Danny Dimes was a number 6 pick in the draft.
Mayhew had he had a top 5 offensive line in the league. And he turned it to the bottom 5 offensive line in the league, bro.
Well, it was injuries did that too.
Not
bringing back.
You got rid of Trent. You got rid of Trent, who you claimed you had to get rid of when Trent says you didn't have to get rid of him for 2 linemen who never get to play.
But Trent wanted.
Then you got rid of this sheriff left. This sheriff left, which I still get, and you still got linemen that can't play to replace him. Like if you get rid of these guys and you're getting guys that can play, I don't complain. If you get rid of Trent and we got who took Trent's spot as a starter? You got for Trent.
Keeping for Trent Williams again.
Right, I'm just saying. Same thing we got Cosme. He's a bum. What's it? Norwell, not good. I ain't gonna say
Cosme's fine when he plays. He's just hurt.
Hey
Right.
Dev, go ahead and read Chet Scotland's comment for us there.
We won't lose enough games for a top 10 draft pick in 24. Even if Sam is average, he'll be 100 times better than Heineke. I almost agree with that. We won't win enough games to be a top 10 pick, and I promise you that. And then, if Sam Howell's average, we gotta let Ron go, bro.
Hey, listen,
I define average.
If he's average, I think we'll be better than last year.
If you're saying
define average,
if we're picking in the draft where another quarterback we could draft is better than him, then we got five.
Define average.
If you're drafted. If a guy in the first
round, I'm not talking about 2024. Define average for 2023.
If you're not good enough this year to where you're going to be replaced in the first round next year, then Ron's fired, bro. If your quarterback doesn't play good enough this year to where somebody's not saying, I don't want to see anybody next year to just say Redskins should pick our Commanders or whatever we're going to be called.
They're always going to say that. They say
no. They don't say it. They don't say it in Cleveland. They don't say it in fucking excuse my language in Kansas City. They don't say it. They didn't say that in Green Bay until they did it. No one said pick a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? They ain't saying that in Philly in the first round. Pick a quarterback. You know why? Because they got their guy, right? If Howell's your guy, they're not going to say that to you here either. If he's not your guy, they're going to say it. They're going to say it.
The top what?
Any top 30, 32 teams. 32 teams. If you pick a quarterback,
Sam Howell needs to be top what next in 2023? Sam Howell needs to be top what?
If you're picking in the draft In the first round, it's 32 teams.
Why can I not get an answer to this question? How good this? I'm not even talking about the draft in 2024. How good does Sam Howell's performance in 2023 have to be for you to say, don't need?
Man,
Don't
he's got to pass the eye test. You got to be able to look at that guy and say, we don't need to replace him next year.
Okay.
That's what you need to do.
This coming year. How good? What level?
That
top
level,
20?
That exact level. Top 20 is not
15?
good enough, bro. How
Top
do you
12?
get top 20?
Hey, Chet Scotland says 24 touchdowns, 12
top
picks.
10, 15.
So he needs to be at least in the top half of the league as far as quarterbacks go.
And not just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
And we got to win while he does it.
Well, of course we're going to win while he does it, because if he's top 16 in the league, we're going to the playoffs. The same team we had last year.
That's what the playoffs were good. We did that 7-9.
Two more comments. Marcus says Sam Howell needs to be efficient running the offense till he grows like Brock Purdy. I think his mobility will help with that, and he'll be fine.
I'm telling you right now, if Lamar Jackson gets MVP of the year, dog, I'm firing Ron Rivera, bro.
Rivers Reese says
MVP of the year, I'm firing Ron. Because you had a shot. I ain't saying you would have got him. In fact, I promise you probably wouldn't have got him. But you had a shot to at least try.
Hoping to see Sam Howell own it. I think he will surprise some folks. He's dedicated. Just glad we didn't pay a washed-up vet too much money to suck it up again. Yeah, I would have went. You should have did the rookie thing second year.
Yeah.
First year vet failure. You should three vet failures in a row.
I get this weird feeling that if Howell had come out a year early, we would have looked at him in the first round.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
I believe in Howell, man. I think he's going to show his ass this year, man. Hopefully.
Yeah. And then the guy said, then we have to win a playoff game because of Sam. We don't need a quarterback. Chet says, screw Brock Purdy. He's already better than that dude. Yeah.
He's probably more talented than that dude.
Yeah. Brock Purdy's just surrounded by good coaching, a good system, a good team.
I don't know if he has better receivers, though.
He is Mr. Relevant for a reason. Like, you don't granted, the draft is a crapshoot.
Much like Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy has a tight end.
Yeah. Well, a few minutes of free for all. If y'all have any topics, please drop them in the chat. Any questions? We'll close out here at a few, but we're always down to stick around when the music drops about talking about anything and everything. Doesn't have to be Commanders related. We're just happy to be here and happy to kick it with you guys. This was a great conversation. This is a great podcast.
How about them Lakers?
Yeah. Swept. Gone in 4.
Man, Boston going come back on Miami. They're kicking their ass 61-44.
It's I enjoyed watching
Lakers lose.
Denver play. No, I didn't really like Lakers. I just enjoyed watching Denver play. I really like Jokic a lot. I like him. I mean, the Wizards got a new GM. Well, the Wizards has a new manager of Monumental Sports, which controls the controlling interest in the Wizards, the Capitals, the Go-Go, the Mystics, and I think I'm one more, maybe the tennis team, the Castles.
What are the Mystics? The
WNBA. Yeah.
That's terrible.
So that we lured the GM away from the LA Clippers, Wagner.
Mystics.
And so he's going to appoint a real GM because the last 2 GMs you had were absolute utter garbage here in the DC area for basketball. So hopefully the Wizards will have a full-blown GM here soon, and we'll rebuild and be relevant again. And he's going to totally look at
have a coach.
He's going to look at even trading Bradley Beal. I mean, if that's what
give him the
us. Yeah, I mean, Brad loves
straight
the
up.
DC
You
area,
give us Randall, we'll give you Beal.
No, we ain't giving up nobody. You're not giving up anybody good. We got about 8 to 10 draft picks the next 3 years.
Yeah,
well, Toppin quickly.
I don't want them.
Toppin quickly and Grimes.
I'm sorry, but the draft lottery, like the only way you're guaranteed to get talent is if you get a top 3 pick. Everything after that is just a roll.
I don't know, man.
Marcus says the new Fast and Furious is off the chain. I didn't even know they dropped a new one.
No way. It's
Fast
good.
10.
No way. It's not just the same. It's basically the same movie, Marcus. Don't lie to me, bro. It's going to be the exact same movie. I mean, I quit watching it once they had an ice fight with a Lamborghini versus submarine. He was base jumping in a Dodge Charger. Like, come on, man.
Family over everything.
Family. And
Family.
base jumping in a
Familia.
fucking Charger.
Familia.
What
The
is
first
going on,
Fast
man?
and Furious will always hold a place near to my heart because it came out the end of high school for me. I was into racing cars and import tuners and all that, but
It was so cheesy, but it was such a good movie.
It
Back
was-
then, it was life.
it
Hey,
was.
how much that car costs?
I
Whatever you
used-
could afford, pal. Ferrari.
You understand? Is I used to go up to like these first couple warm nights of spring, man. On a weekend, you go somewhere. It's just cars for miles, all kinds of
Yeah,
street
dude.
glow and shit.
We used to go out to Mathis Avenue, the strip in Manassas, get in trouble till the cops ran us off. Then we used to go to, it was Martin Luther King Avenue, Junior Avenue on Route 50 called the Metro and race down there. That's the first time I got a gun pulled on me by a cop because we used to race down there by the New Carrollton Metro. So yeah, I'm totally into that scene, man.
So I used to go up to places like I used to go down to
Asian guys in the cars, man. What
Hey, remember the dude
What was
playing
he doing?
PlayStation in Fast and Furious 1 inside his Honda Civic? Yeah.
There
Midnight
was a dude
Run?
who had that set up in his Integra back in the
Midnight
day.
Run?
Yeah.
But I mean, I used to go to Pennsylvania a lot, right after high school. And I swear to God, if anybody here knows Hanover, Pennsylvania, Eisenhower Avenue, there's a Walmart on one side, there's a Lowe's on the other. And it used to be both parking lots full. And people would be racing all up and down Eisenhower Avenue. The cops would watch. As long as your race did not interfere with the traffic around you, they let you go.
Well, that's a new
Because they
story.
weren't going to catch half those cars.
There's a news story here where two guys took a Corvette that wasn't out yet and raced them up Lover's Lane. It was like last year, I think. They went straight to jail, and they couldn't really take the cars because they had no VIN numbers. They didn't exist. They were cars that were not out yet.
But they roll back those odometers.
Yeah. It might not even have that mechanism in it yet, man. Like that's the last thing to go on is when they turn all that stuff on.
Yeah. Rivers Reese says, happy to kick it with y'all too. Looking forward to more live chats like every year, full of hope, but this year starting new beginning. Super stoked on EB. I think we'll get our boys right. Hey, Rivers, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications. Right now, we're going every Thursday for our live streams, but once the season starts coming in, we'll be back to twice a week, probably shifting to Monday and Wednesdays. So thank you for tuning in, man. It's good to have you here for the first time. Great commentary, great interaction. Really appreciate you. So next week we'll be back. We're scheduled back here for another live stream. We'll see what other activities this team has for us in store. Like we said before, it's the gift that keeps on giving. There's always something, even though we think nothing's going on. Now there's always something going on, even if we don't want it.
herpes.
Somebody has herpes.
Even if we don't want it going on, something's always going on. And Marcus says, I binge watch Power Book. It's now one of my favorite new show. Everyone have a great, safe holiday weekend. Yeah. Happy Memorial Day to everyone.
Did you watch Sisu, by the way?
Watch what?
Sisu.
What that is.
SU. Please watch that, bro.
Oh,
Better
what?
than John Wick. Promise you.
On what network?
It's a movie. I don't know what it's on. It's a movie though. I think it's on Prime.
Washington Commander Declassified checking in. Oh, our boy Lee. Wiz, last three top pick, Otto Porter and Beal. Oof.
Okay, well that's
One pick at
50%.
all costs.
That's a 50%.
Y'all
You're not gonna
gonna
act like
re-sign
Beal is
KP?
garbage because he's
Are y'all
not.
going to re-sign KP?
I
He's
don't
a free
know.
agent.
I love Chris Stapps, man. I love Porzingis. I love him. They got to build
I
around
did
him.
too. He just got to quit getting hurt.
I would sign Porzingis. I'd sign Kuzma, and I would say everyone else is subject to termination,
The
including Beal.
roster subject to change.
We got a bunch of guards. Our team is like 9 guards.
I need to go on after Chris Paul, man. He's going to need the team.
Dude, Chris Paul's like 50. I'm good. I don't need Chris Paul. Give me Chris Paul. Shout out to Washington Commanders Declassified. Please go check them out on YouTube. That's our boy Lee, Mr. Who, and Eric. E.T. Rod. Go check them out.
Shout out to Steve. He and I were reminiscing about the Grease Man on Facebook.
Wasn't that his standard voice effect when he was?
He always had that weird thing where he, come on, talking about bone dry.
Those weird voiceovers. Yeah, this guy was like
weird in
a
general.
practically X-rated DJ. I remember listening to him when I was
He
like 10 years old.
he basically he had this really great way of avoiding censors. He created like basically just nonsense
Stories.
terms, but you knew what he was talking about when he talked about the doodads on your chin,
Yeah.
you know, and things like that. And he's talking about, you know, bone dry. He's talking about his martinis, you know.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm telling y'all, man.
Now,
Homework,
granted, he did get knocked off a radio for some insane shit. But it was literally a bit, and he made a really, 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 really bad joke.
homework assignment for y'all, man. For the next pod, YouTube, watch Kill Tony. Greatest shit ever existed. If you're on Spotify, listen to that too. After you listen to us, of course. Kill Tony. Phil would love it. It'll be his next best show he ever watches. I promise you he'll love it.
Bill Coney.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll love it, man. It's like awesome. It's
Yeah.
the best thing going right now.
Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight. It was such good kicking with y'all. Marcus, Rivers, Chet, and Nunu Kai. A lot of new guests tonight. Deuce, thank you for popping in. Washington Commanders Declassified. Badass Lord Tipsy, Kevin Williams, Chris McDaniel, Yam, Oscar Urbina, Ryan Elias. Thank you so much for popping in, man. You guys really helped this show keep going. So we'd be lost without you guys, straight up. So any shout outs, fellas, before we close it down?
Shout out to my girlfriend, man. She's in Florida. Got a shirt on. She got me with her
Flow
face
Rider.
on.
Flow
This is her
Rider.
on my shirt. So
She's branding you.
yeah.
Shout out to a 3-day weekend coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Shout out to this weekend's
I will
always
be
I will be
spending my Sunday night getting drunk and watching AEW Double or Nothing.
He's
There
lying.
you
He's gonna
go.
watch Gentle, the HD version.
There you go. Yeah, no major plans. Going out Saturday for some family stuff. Sunday, staying in, cooking out. Nothing crazy. Just enjoying the good weather, man. The weather's beautiful. Been beautiful up here in the DMV.
I am going to Black Trivia in Nashville Saturday.
Black trivia.
Also going to a funeral. They gotta ask questions like, "What was Lorenzo Tate's role in this movie?" or some shit. You know, that's like soul playing questions
in
and shit.
society.
Yeah. Black
Oh,
trivia,
man.
man. You got to know the Jeffersons and good times. I'll give y'all a question right now so y'all can answer it. Hey,
All right.
Keep putting our head above water.
Don't ask me what the second line is.
We say, temporary layoffs, good times.
Don't do it.
Easy credit rip-offs, good times. Struggling, surviving, good times. What's the next part?
All right. We've seen this on the Chappelle show.
Yeah.
The answer is impossible.
It's hanging in the shower on, bro.
Yeah. Ellie said he's taking his boat out on the lake. That's right.
Oh, you know niggas can't swim, LE.
Navigator out on the lake down there in Virginia. Said, have a good one, fellas. Thank you, Ellie, for
LE
popping
gonna be
in.
the first part.
Ellie, you a Lake Anna guy or you a Smith Mountain Lake guy?
I think Ellie's probably a Lake Anna guy.
Probably a Lake Anna guy.
And it's past his bedtime too. So thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, that's true.
It's way past your bedtime, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's a Lake Anna guy.
Phil probably got a yacht, bro. They go joking.
I don't even have a canoe.
Yeah.
I don't even have a love boat. I don't even have one of those little inner tube you fill up. I do got one of those in the pool.
Yeah. Oh, he said not Lake Anna. Okay. I live at not Lake Anna.
Yeah, remember he showed us
Right.
his house.
That's right. Ellie got that money.
He got a mansion, bro. I told you he probably has a yacht back there, bro.
Yeah.
LE has a mansion, bro.
Shout out again to Tina Turner.
Like trying.
Passed away at 83. You know, you will be missed. We like to reminisce on this show.
LE's like, I got my baby's cash money.
We don't need another hero, Dev. We just gotta start dropping Tina Turner lyrics here in the next couple weeks to see if
We
people
don't
pick
need
them
another
up.
hero, but we are simply the best.
Yeah, that's right.
Simply the best.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
And you know, fellow fans, I don't really want to fight no more.
No. That's right. We don't want to
What's
fight.
love got to do with it?
Left a good job in the city. Right.
Working
Working for the man every night and day.
Working for a man every night and day.
Oh, man.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you very much. Please go like and subscribe. Check out us on any of your audio podcast platforms. Just search for Command This, and there we will be right in your face. Pow, 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 pow. Ski, 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 ski. Right up in your face. All right. We'll catch you guys next week. As always, peace
Eat the cake, Eddie Mae.
and hail. We out.